It's a triple witching. Afternoon, everybody. How are we doing? Thought I'd pop that out there. Something different, isn't it? So it's triple witching day today, which means we've got a potential big move on our hands. So market, as you can see, pre-market is already very, very jittery. We've got quite a lot of movement going on. Anybody here? Hello, Mumble. Hello, Ryan. How are we doing? So potentially today we might get a fairly big move. It's one of those days where you kind of want to be a little bit careful because the market can be quite whippy, but it can also put some very, very dramatic moves in. We did have a look this morning in the members stream at the last triple witching, which I'm going to do it in MT4 because it's just so much easier. The last triple witching was on the 20th of June. So if we go back and have a look at that, which is back here, there, that's the 23rd, that's the 20th, yeah. So we had a look at this move basically this morning quickly on a 15-minute chart. There we are. So as you can see, we had from the open, my pen, hang on, sorry, one sec. This pen, for some reason, it just stops working on one monitor. Never used to do this. Just restart it. There we go. So big strong move up. That was roughly one ADR, followed by 150% of ADR back in the opposite direction. Yes, a huge spike, huge drop. So that's, go away. Stop selling me your pen. So that can be potentially what we might be experiencing today, but we will have to wait and see what happens. Afternoon, Fletch. Afternoon, Paul. Ryan, what's triple witching? It's basically when you have multiple options expiries on the same day. So triple witching is, this is what we looked at this morning. Simultaneous expiration of stock options, stock index futures, and stock index options contracts on the same day. So it is basically when you take out options contracts, they're futures contracts that you're going to buy an option on in the future at a better price, hopefully. They have an expiration date, so you have to cash them in. So what it is basically when we have options expiries, you get a lot of activity in the market. When you have three sets of options expiries on the same day, you get 3 times the activity. Hence, we got 250% of ADR movement last time. Sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes it's actually the opposite because they've expired all the contracts. So there is not a lot of activity, but it's when it goes, it goes. So these are the days where if you take an ORB today and the market just goes, yep, we're off, and it picks a direction, it's one of those where you go, okay, I'm just going to stay. So no matter what it does, hold it, because there's an opportunity to get a stupendous move out of it. But it can also be really whippy sometimes. So it's volatile, basically. When you get it on a Friday, which is when it always occurs as well, you can have very, very big moves. So this morning, DAX was an absolute washout, unfortunately. We had a break short, failed. We had a break long. I don't know if you were in the live room this morning. If I did what I said I would do, I would make so much more money. I said in the live room this morning, watch this upside resistance from Tuesday. That's likely the turning point today. So as we've had a stop out short, if we break long and get there, I'll probably take it off. I was recording a video and I came back and looked at it. I was like, thanks. So not only did it reverse at exactly the pip where I said it would, it put in a beautiful 3-bar reversal, my favorite pattern on the planet. So it had a 3-bar reversal at the bloody resistance I called out. So I just let it go to stop loss. Fun, isn't it, trading? So yeah, there we go. So I'm just going to switch over to my TradeAvate account because big move down on the Dow. I want to try and get some contracts on this today. I finally got my TradeAvate funded, that account. I've got another one, but this one I've been trying to get over the line. It's taken me 9 days. I normally bang them out in 5, but this one took a little bit longer. So I'd like to kind of get a trade on this today. So ORB today, obviously, we will watch what's going on, see what the ranges are like. We've got a big move down starting on the Dow. We've got a bit of a whippy one forming a 3-bar reversal on the NASDAQ. Gold not really doing an awful lot. Morning, Phil, or afternoon, wherever you are. And Virginia, how are we doing? I've just, there we go. So already triggered short on the NASDAQ. Let's have a go. Just going to pop, as we might be getting a big one, I might just put a small starter position on that. Not going to go crazy. Just going to jump straight on the Dow. See where we go. So there's quite a lot of movement today on the yen pairs. We had the Bank of Japan rate come out, so we've had a fair bit of ADR hits on yens, but nothing that you would say is particularly dramatic. They all kind of went straight up to ADR and kind of bounced off and not really done much since. So it's basically hit, that one didn't even hit ADR. Look. So hit ADR, sat around, hit ADR, sat around, hit ADR, that one bounced back. So the Aussie and the New Zealand dollar bounced back. The US dollar yen just didn't quite get there and just flip-flopped around a bit. So those are your ADRs today. The CAD Swiss also hit today. We had quite a lot of movement on the Swiss franc today. A lot of money seems to have come out of the yen into the Swiss. So I think they just kind of stuck it there as a bit of a holding pattern. We had a little bit of movement on the pound. Obviously, the pound had the news this morning on retail, which was good. So, of course, the pound dropped. One of those weird ones. But, yeah, negative move on the pound. Obviously, why? We're not sure, because, obviously, if you look at the data, it was bullish. But CAD retail came out negative as well. But yeah, bullish move on the pound. It is only a medium impact retail sales for the pound, so not a lot of movement off the back of that. But those are your ADRs. RSI extensions at the moment. There's quite a few RSI extensions. We'll go through those in a second. The 4 hours. I'll come back over to those. I just want to watch this open this morning and see where we go. So we triggered short on the Dow as well. On NASDAQ, there's my trigger short on the NASDAQ just gone in. Starbucks chai latte, not sure. You know when you get new coffee pods or new coffee beans and you're like, oh, they sound nice. And then you make a coffee with it and you're like, yeah. One of them. So just putting stop loss in place on the NASDAQ, which is actually the NASDAQ stop is a little bit higher today. Dow is around, oh, wrong one. The Dow is around mid-level. So we're struggling a little bit at the moment to get any momentum. I'm not sure this is going to be a big one today. Typically, you'd expect it to take off. We're not taking off anywhere, are we, at the minute? So I'm not convinced that we're going to get a big triple witching move today, but we will keep an eye. There's a lot of volume coming in. It's very twitchy. So there is a lot of volume coming through the market. Pulling back on the NASDAQ inside bar. We're not inside the 5-minute range. Dow's pulling back as well. Might be a whippy one. We'll see where we go. So potential 3-bar reversal forming on both of these. But we'll see. We'll give the candle time to play out. Right, so just running over the RSIs at the moment, we've got Aussie dollar CAD is extended on the 4-hour to the downside. So this one obviously is in the middle of its profit take move. We had this move from here all the way up. The first extension on the 4-hour above the 80 level was kind of around about there last week. So you would have been scaling into a position and out of that now if you'd have got into that one. Aussie dollar, US dollar. That one also, I need to line these up properly. That one also under profit take at the moment, which I'm quite surprised about because of the US dollar. We're expecting it to be weaker than it is, but that's a nice profit take move underway. So that if you are in these on mean reversion trades, just bear in mind you're getting a signal to go long, so it might be the time to start getting out. We've just retraced. Okay, long NASDAQ. We'll be long NASDAQ in a minute. It's whippy. I'm going to attempt a second short, which is just a breakout, a re-breakout basically. So when that candle resets, we'll have the ORB there. So you might want to think about starting to get out of some of these if you are in them short already and in profit, which you probably would be. Euro pound, that is also an extension to the upside. So big rejection there. This is one of those that went a bit mad today. So when the yen news came in, we had a lot of Swiss franc buying. Swiss franc also drives the euro. So the euro obviously got the benefit from the Swiss franc move. And at the same time, we had that big move down on the pound when it had positive news. So that euro pound was the one that benefited, got 125 ADR. So you wouldn't have been able to get in that today if you look at the reversals. In fact, you will be in it, but actually, no, it wasn't too bad. So your first reversal alert on that one was there. So that would have been your first reversal, and the second reversal's gone in here. So you would be in from roughly that area short, kind of at break even now on that one. But yeah, a bit of an odd move on that euro pound today, but good propulsion target to the downside here to come and retest if we're going to continue with that bullish leg. So this is actually rejecting out of these highs potentially. So we might get a move on that. But pound CAD is the other extension on the 4. So that's extended to the downside. Again, if you were in on this one short on that embedded, you are out. Nice propulsion gap. This is probably a good spot to take profit. Or get in if you want to. Pound US dollar. So big strong push down again. This is the profit take move on that leg underway straight into propulsion. We are field propulsion now, so you might want to watch that area if we're going to continue to the downside, but probably coming to test those lows. But we're going to need strength on the dollar. No news at the moment, and FOMC was very undecided, wasn't it? That's over 20 extension though, so that's a really big extension on that one. New Zealand dollar CAD, biggest extension we've got. That New Zealand dollar really getting hammered at the moment. So watch for entries, I would, at ADR today, but that is extended. You may well already be in this one from yesterday. If so, then your second entry is at ADR. That bounce back up into here. And New Zealand dollar, US dollar, which is the same trade, basically. So don't trade both, trade one or the other. Looking for support at ADR, potentially for a bounce back up into there. So all RSI extensions on the 4 hour look pretty good to me as entries today, especially these ones which are the 80-20s. Obviously, 80-20 level on 4 hours is really good. Right, so trade is reset on the NASDAQ. So we have put a 3-bar reversal in, but your 3-bar reversal, if you remember, if any of you members are here that have got in from the old content, 3-bar reversals are good when they are at the top or the bottom, not in the middle. Yeah, so this is just accumulation. Very choppy today, very, very choppy. Not pretty. Virginia, pounds drop due to bad gov borrowing figures. Potentially, yeah. I mean, obviously, the move happened at retail. Markets will use news events to drive volume. It hasn't necessarily dropped because of that number. It's dropped because there was a news release on the pound. That's literally it. So just what they used basically to move the market today. So you wouldn't normally find it dropping on positive news, but it's not unknown. Okay, Dow's back up inside, trying to get back up inside range. So we're really stuck. So for the last 15 minutes, we're going absolutely nowhere. If we get a move started today, there's a good chance of a run, but it's really struggling at the minute. Wouldn't it be nice to end the week on a negative? We've had 4 days of solid profit. We've had 3 weeks out of 4 profit. It's going to ruin my nice green board, isn't it, today? Oh, by the way, I've just released a new video this morning on the Academy. This one here. Understanding how risk to reward and strike rate interact. So it's 30 minutes long, and it basically goes through the risk reward calculator, and so that you can get a full understanding for how break-even mathematics works, yeah, basically just a really good understanding for the thing that makes us money, risk reward and strike rate. That's literally what trading is about, isn't it? So go and have a look at that if you want. Dow's back inside. Might stop out in that Dow as well. Hope it's not going to be a choppy session. How is the ORB on gold going? Yeah, good so far. It's not in that account. Put it in my other account. So that's the ORB. This is this account. Yeah, stopped out on the Dow. Haven't stopped out. Sorry, one sec. Quite stopped out on the futures. Will do. This is a good start to a funded account, isn't it? Oh. I'm either going to not get stopped out and it's going to go my way, I'm going to add, or I'm going to get stopped out, and if it does drop again, I want to add. Gold, second best performer, 66% strike rate. Average profit, there you go, that stopped out on the Dow. Oh, actually, that might be entered on the NASDAQ. Let's have a look. Entered on the NASDAQ. Stopped out on the Dow and entered on the NASDAQ at the same time. Right, so if we're going to go long, let's have a look at where we've got as a potential target. So we are running straight up into upside resistance from yesterday's high. That's it, all-time highs. So if we are going to run on a triple, God, imagine that. If we're going to go for a run on a triple witching at all-time highs, this thing could be 200 ADR today. It's one of those instances where you kind of want to potentially not take partials today. So, you know, it's personal preference, but if you're going to get a huge move, there's an argument for just taking the lot and just going for it, really, basically, today. It's one of those days where it could go mad, but then again, it could also whipsaw. So look at that fill. That is an absolutely awful fill. Look at that. So my pending was there, and I got filled 146 points above. So basically 1.5 point slippage. Okay, so that is all-time highs coming up. Just tapping into it on CFDs. Afternoon, Andres. Does read that? Does gold look to you it's going roll over and do a pullback? In daily chart, we have a 3-bar reversal. I don't know. I don't look long term. I'm trading 5-minute charts, so I don't know. If you think what the US dollar's been doing, and effectively gold is just a US dollar cross, we've had a reversal on the 4-hour, 3-bar reversal on the daily, as you say. So if that dollar is going to suddenly power up, we're dropping, aren't we? But I don't think the dollar's not going to power up. I don't think. We're still looking at more interest rate drops this year. More than likely, the dollar will kind of do that. So gold obviously has its own movement. I mean, from an institutional perspective, if you look at the divergence there, we are under a lot of pressure at the moment, and there is obviously quite a big move there for the 3 weeks, stroke 4 weeks, where we haven't taken profit. So there is a high probability, I think, of some kind of pullback on it. When you get this type of parabolic move, you can't sustain it. You have to take profit because there's no one left up here to sell to that is selling. You can't buy from an empty market. So they will have eaten all the sellers. The sellers won't be there anymore. So you would just take profit and build up some momentum to start a new leg. So yeah, it could well roll over. We've had the reversal alert on your 4-hour time frame. So you had a reversal alert on the 4-hour there. So that was the last down candle before the high. And then we had this spike going, which created a new high. So it created its own reversal alert on that candle. So that is your M pattern there. That's the obvious place to pull back into because that is your upside resistance. So that area is resistance. That will become support. So this propulsion gap, which is the move above that high, will form the next leg up if it happens. Can't quite get to that all-time high. I'm really tempted to hit the button and buy another one up there. I'm not going to. Good example of what we were covering today in the in that video that I've just released about equity curves and drawdown. Yeah, I mean this is the ORB running almost on full auto basically. You can see all the drawdown. This is totally normal having all this drawdown in there. Stagnation where we don't make any money. Yeah, your chart if your chart is using risk reward properly with the same strike rate flowing through the strategy over a long period of time, your P&L should almost look like support resistance bounces. So you're going to hit a peak, the market's going to plateau, make a peak, make a drop down to support. That previous resistance becomes support, which we bounce off twice. It's almost like I'm a bank buying my own orders, isn't it? That's a nice, healthy equity curve. It's not that. It's not straight. Nasdaq's pulling back. Take a small loss on the NAS if it pulls back. I don't want to risk too much. This is a new account. I don't really want to go full loss mode on it on day one. But this is a very tricky market today. Not what I was hoping for. Look at that. Beautiful. Gold break, but range is too tight again. I almost want to do some back testing on this and try some ranges which are tighter on gold, because the open on gold, we do get this movement on gold which starts around the open, but it's like a stuttering car. It's not like the stock indices where we get that big bold move straight away. It tends to grind and gradually build up speed. So there's an argument for using something like 10% of ADR as a range basis here, and go with a little bit of a tighter one to try and get those trades on. But equally, then you're going to need to use a similar stop loss, almost like you kind of wouldn't mind having a stop loss outside of the range and hedging it. Pulling back on the Dow and the Nas. Chop fest today. This is not a nice triple witching, is it? It's going to be a horrible one. Stopping out on the Nas. Kind of want to take the Dow short here. So market structure on the Dow looking like it's bear at the moment, potentially. So it'd be interesting to see what happens when we do a wick test here. Straight through. Afternoon, Mimo. I'm just going to take a break even pretty much on the Dow, Nasdaq rather. Or not. Okay, so that is kind of holding up there. Okay, I'm placing another buy order at this high. If I can stay in this trade without getting stopped out and we do start to run this high, I'm looking to add as we get a pop through that all-time high there. We should get a decent pop there because the market's just going to find a load of resistance there, which it's going to either run over and they are all going to flip and reverse and go long, stop and reverse trades, or we're going to hit it and bounce out of it. And if that's the case, then I'll move my stops up to break even if it's going to bounce. It's got to get there yet. We're really struggling to make any progress today. Just going to give myself a little bit more wiggle room underneath that low, just a little bit, another $50. Just in case they just take the bottom of that wick out and it gets brought back up. If you see these three equal highs here. Yeah. So we've got upside resistance, which we've popped through. We've rebought, and at the moment we're rebuying that. If this holds, we should get a run out, but it's never going to hold to the pip. It will always hold around here. They will buy around this area. So I'm just giving myself just that little bit of extra room underneath this low. But if it gets too far down, then I'm out. Should have sold it out. It's going to be one of those days, isn't it? It's just going to be one of those days where it just all goes like chop, 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 chop. So you have to call it at some point. Okay, so gold, I am taking the 6-bar break today, which is a 30-minute. So that is your TPO. Time price opportunity candle on futures is 30 minutes. So we'll see where we go from here. So a lot of the time, the 30-minute, if we're going to go into rotation, the 30-minute candle forms range high and range low for the first sort of hour or so. If we're going to go into a breakout, you take a break of the 30 and you tend to retest it and go. So as we're at all-time highs here, that is your 30-minute TPO. So if we break that TPO, we're breaking into all-time highs. There's a good chance of getting that pop and that run today, but we just can't get started today. Just not enough buyers out there right now. We need someone to come in with a huge options expiry and just go, boom. Hopefully that way, not that way. If it goes that way, is there? Not a lot you can do. FX wise, nothing moved today that I'm on. Aussie New Zealand still short. We haven't gone anywhere today on the Aussie New Zealand. Took the mean reversion yesterday. We've had the reversal alert. We're in retest at the moment, but not really doing anything. Pound Swiss also in first entry yesterday. The first entry on that one was a couple of days ago back here on that entry there, but we've just gone into rotation on that. Accumulating, not going anywhere. There's loads of downside into the double monthly lows. So we're looking at 150 to 175 ADR from where we are. So I should be in really three trades in the position. Average will come in somewhere around about there when we hit that low. So I'll be looking for a push back up into that initial entry to get out. Not going anywhere today. Well, it is. It's done a lot today, just not directional. It's just done spiky whipsaw movements. Okay, Nasdaq having an inside bar. So we've got 1 minute left. Less than. So we're inside bar, indecision after that lower low and lower high. So potentially this is forming a flag break for an attempt on all-time highs. So if you want to take a really tight stop loss based trade, take a break of that high, stop under there, or take a break of that high, stop under there. This is a symmetrical triangle on a 1 minute chart. So it's just a contraction in price. As soon as the symmetrical triangle breaks, it tends to head off in one direction or the other. Can't contract forever. Oops, Dow is just a waste of time today. What do you think about Aussie New Zealand? Well, I'm in short at the moment on the other account, but yeah, I mean it's parabolic at the minute. So we had obviously the news on the Aussie, which made it bullish. We had New Zealand. We had nothing but negative New Zealand news as well. It's been one of those moves. Just badly timed moves. They too tend to do this, the Aussie and the New Zealand. So we've had lots of decent numbers from the Australians. So the unemployment came out quite as a bad miss for the Aussies. But the unemployment rate, which is the important one, stayed the same. So this is what the market looks at as the main leading indicator. So CPI, interest rates, unemployment, GDP. Those are your big four. Unemployment rate came out as forecast, no impact. Prior to that, GDP was up, good. CPI up, higher interest rates or maintaining interest rates, good. So we've had good news, good news, good news, good news for the Australian dollar. A little bit of bear came in, but cancelled out by static unemployment. New Zealand dollar, huge bearish miss on GDP, not just a small miss. We were going from a 0.8, 1% positive GDP growth to forecasting we would slightly contract to actually contracting 1% pretty much. So that is almost a 2% differential. Yeah, 1.7% differential. That's huge. So that's a massive down for the New Zealanders. They kept their interest rates at the forecast level that they said they were going to, which is good, but it's not bullish or bearish. So this is what's caused that massive spike on the Aussie New Zealand. We have good news after good news after good news for the Australians, and then the New Zealanders hammered it home with some really crappy news. So big, strong spike up there, obviously. So the Australian news causing that, New Zealand causing a negative spike, which is obviously positive Aussie New Zealand. So eventually you will come back down into here. But it's one of those grinders at the minute, which is just taking forever to do anything. It does do this, Aussie New Zealand, same as Euro Pound does. It just goes into grinds. They always undo themselves, but they can be very squeezy. I'm short at the moment with one. Oh, not on there, I'm not. We have broken the highs. Higher high, higher low gone in on the NASDAQ, but I wouldn't call that convincing, would you? That is like a nice little long opportunity on the Dow. We're really struggling to get any traction today. So I've got the Aussie New Zealand short first entry. I'm quite happy with this as an entry on this because it's very, very extended. So I'm in literally at the top. There was an M5 reversal alert which was absolutely spot on at 225. Actually, it was more than that. I think it was about 275 ADR, whatever that went. It went huge. I'm in up here. This is one of those pairs where it does get false signals. Fundamental shift. It might continue to go. Is a difficult one. Oh my God. Right. Nasdaq's pulled back down. I think I'm going to call it a day on this today. Not going to make any money on this today. It'll either go or it won't. It's just not moving at the minute, is it? Outside bar. So some total indecision. So we've gone bullish, bearish, indecision, indecision. Just not going anywhere. Get the feeling it's going to be one of those. Doesn't matter what you take. If you take a break of that, you'll get stopped out. If you try and go short because it's rejecting those highs, you'll get stopped out. And it will just whip everybody to death. One of those. You just need to just go, I'm done. It will be. Pound went down also, yeah. What would be your targets on the crash of the Aussie New Zealand, so the propulsion gap? Depends where your average is, what your target is. You've got to watch that area there. So depending where your average is, I can get out here on my trade. But if you're in a trade where you can't get out there, that's your target. The market does nothing but move from support, resistance to propulsion. That's all it uses. It uses either a support resistance area it's in before, or it uses a propulsion gap where it needs to complete unfinished business. That's all it ever does. So that is going to be hit. That is going to be hit before that is hit. Yeah. If this is going to go parabolic, that could become an orphaned propulsion gap. That could become an orphaned propulsion gap. We could continue to push up, in which case then you're going to scale in and that will become your target. Depends how it moves, but that's basically all the market does. Look. Yeah. So you've got this old propulsion there, this propulsion, this propulsion, this propulsion, this propulsion, this propulsion, that propulsion, that propulsion, that propulsion, that propulsion, hit, 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 hit. Next. When it comes back down, where's it going? All it does, it goes up to test that, down to test that, hitting these along the way. Or it gets to a point where you go into a trend and this gets left behind and just vanishes. It will be replaced by something else you could get hit. And if that vanishes, it gets replaced by something else you could hit. So always target the areas the banks and institutions are going to target, which is the propulsion areas. So these are all orphaned, but you know, it's going to be magnetized towards these levels. These are tiny little ones. 4 hours, I don't really trade 4 hours, mainly hourly, but you know, look at this one here as an example. That's not a very good propulsion gap either. That's a really good one because it broke a high. That's a really good one because it broke a high. Pushed up, tested it, tested it, tested it, tested it, broke it. Pushed down, tested it, bounced. Always the best propulsion gaps are the ones that break a previous high. Yeah, because that is at previous highs you have an iceberg order which made that move happen. So when you see price doing that and then pop through, basically everybody that was holding price down here does a stop and reverse order and helps it along its way. That's what creates the vacuum, the void, the propulsion move. When you come back to test those, you add into them. So they're always the targets, the best ones, the ones that break the highs. So that move there broke that high. That move there broke that high. They will always get tested, at least to the upside of them, if not through them, depending on the balance of orders, long and short, when you come back to test that area. Obviously, things change by the time you've moved through the thing. Just all it does. So when you're looking at Aussie New Zealand, look on an hourly chart, that is where I would say the downside target should be. Long term, you know, you're looking at weeks, potentially, looking at the way this is moving. But at some point it will get there. It's just, you know, it's the when. I'm still in it. Wishing I wasn't. Fridays, normally good. Mondays, not so good. NASDAQ, Fridays and Tuesdays. What's going on, NASDAQ? You're not listening to yourself. There we go. Stop. Oh, how did that not stop me out? Look at that. Literally missed my fill. It literally traded at 75.50. I'll take it. Now, if it rockets out the highs and makes me $500, that's the luckiest trade of the year. I don't think it's going to do that. I think I'm going to get stopped out. Just getting ready to shut everything down because it's not happening. I'm just going to close out my trades on the Dow. I'm not interested in trading that. Honestly, if this goes now and we get a triple witching run for, I don't know, $1,000, that is going to be the trade of the year. Sitting in it for 30 minutes, going nowhere, trading one tick above your stop loss, and then flying off to £1,000 profit. That's what dreams are made of. Go on, shatter it. Go on. It's almost like they know it's there. They're like, we're going to play with him for a bit. Gone. Okay, flat. Done. That ain't going anywhere. So I'll let the ORBs play out on here. This is an absolute crap show today. There's absolutely no point in trying to trade this. It's just stopped out on gold as well. Look at that for ruining your week. If it does break, so I have a long on the Dow. If for any reason it does run on the highs, I will go with it. I'm still in obviously on ORB because ORB uses a wider stop. So it may go. I might flip short gold. It may flip short. So if it does suddenly take off in one direction or the other, that will reduce that down by 50%, maybe a bit more if something runs. But at the minute, you cannot pick a direction on this. It looks like right now you just want to hit the sell button, but it looked like you want to hit the sell button there. It looked like you want to hit the sell button there. 5 minutes later, you want to hit the buy button. It's just sideways. It's the type of trading that will just blow your account because there is no winning in it. So I'm going to call it a day on that. I'll let these play out, see where they go, if they go anywhere. I've got a shed to paint, unfortunately. So I'm going to go and do that because watching paint dry on my shed is more fun than trading this. And that is a fact. I'm in my last gold trade before the weekend too. Wish you a very nice weekend. Yeah. Good luck. So I'm back on Monday. So Monday is a complete different stream. I'll show you in here what's happening next week. If you go into the live calendar. So this is where we are now. So on Monday, basically, I'll be here on Monday morning, 8 o'clock. We will do the Monday morning DAX trading, look at the week ahead, plan some news trades, see what's coming up basically from a fundamental perspective, have a look at the FX market, see if there's opportunities for position trading, same stuff. That'll be a 45-minute stream. 15 minutes after that, at 9 o'clock, we go to the first member stream with MST Academy, which is basically going to be diversification, correlation and risk awareness and expectancy versus reality, how to spend your capital. So we're going to cover those sections on Monday morning. And then Wednesday, there's a member stream at 9 o'clock where we cover the next two subjects. And then Wednesday afternoon, I'm back here for NASDAQ Dow Gold trading, ORB, look at FX, etc. Then on Friday, there's a members stream in the morning. And then we have an afternoon session again, trading NASDAQ, Dow, Gold, usual stuff. And then after that, we go into the weekly Q&A, which is another members session. Okay, and that is the repeating schedule. So it's the same pretty much as I've always done, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at the moment, except there's 3 public streams and the rest of it is all members, because we've got to get through all of this content in here. We've got to get through all of these, all of these, all of these, and all of these, and it's going to take a while. So it's going to be very members heavy. So if you want to join up, they're all done on Zoom. So it's a much more sort of closed environment. We go through the lessons, we have a Q&A, you can talk and everything. It's like having a conversation in a classroom. It's real. Rather than being on YouTube where someone asks me a question and I go, hang on a minute, I was talking about that half an hour ago. It's live. So it's all being done on Zoom, so it's much more interactive. If you want it to be, you don't have to say anything. You can come into the Zoom call and sit there with your camera off and your mic off and just watch. It's not a problem. But obviously for those that do want interaction, that's great. It'd be really good to look at people's trades in there as well. And it's kind of an environment I want to kind of nurture so that people are going off and doing exercises in it and showing their trades and, you know, just a two-way thing, really. That's how you learn. That's how I learned when I was being mentored. It was a two-way thing. Every time I took a trade, I showed them what it was. And they said, well, that's stupid. Why are you doing that? I said, don't know. I didn't do it again. Yeah, that's how you learn mentoring. Watching YouTube videos makes you really educated. It doesn't make you a good trader. It makes you good at watching videos and retaining information. Acting on it and having it critiqued is where the money's made, basically. Eliminating the mistakes that make the losses. This is partly what this is all about in here. If you can go into here, look at your trades and understand where you're not making money, you will be able to eliminate losses. If you eliminate losses, your profit just gets bigger by default. Okay, so we're going to be covering everything in the members area and using all of this while we're going through this so that you can build a really good foundation for knowing what works and what doesn't, which is what it's all about. It's not rocket science. As I covered in that video this morning in here, it's not rocket science. It's maths. You're good at maths, you're good at trading. If you're crap at maths, you can learn it. It's very simple. Right, so there we go. So yeah, that's done for the day. Anything you need, I'll be in Discord or Telegram. Monday, if you want to join up, you can do that on the website. If you just go on the website, if you're already a member, if I could possibly find it. If you're already a member, which, you know, if you want to sign up, it's very easy. I won't sign up, but just sign up to the website. It's totally free to get access to it. You can get access to all this stuff. It's all there. If you want to join the education side of it, that's all in here. Doesn't actually say it, does it? I haven't put the MST Academy in there yet. I will put the MST Academy in there, basically. So Pro or Elite, whichever you want, both give you access. Okay. Right, there we go. So I will be back on Monday. Anything you need, let me know in Discord or Telegram. Other than that, have a great weekend. Think of me while I'm painting my shed and putting it together. And I will see you next week. Have a good day.